Hi, and welcome to the Town of Basalt Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for Tuesday, May 5th. May we have a roll call, please? Call to order.
We need a pause for a second.
Restart.
Hi again, welcome to the Town of Basalt Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for May 5th. Do we have a call to order, please?
Yes, Eric Vozick.
Here.
Cindy Hirschfield.
Here.
Mike Horvath.
Here.
Bob Kaplan.
Here.
Ben Firestein.
Here.
And Bill Marin, Kyle Oberketter, and Rob Levitt are absent today. You have a quorum.
Excellent. Our next item then is a public hearing on parcel 9, the Cypress Meadows Final Subdivision PUD and Associated Development Review requests. And I'll hand it over to you to get us going.
Yeah, thank you. Let me please share my screen here. We have the design team here with us on the parcel 9. We've got Sarah Ty, we've got Jay, the engineer, and we've got Scott McHale from Z Group. So this is a public hearing on a final plan application submitted by the town, and it's to construct 16 two-bedroom residential units on parcel 9 of the Cypress Meadows subdivision. As background, the town is proposing to construct 16 two-bedroom deed-restricted units on the vacant parcel known as parcel 9 of Cypress Meadows. It's just south of the Willits Rugby Field and just north of the Lakeside Townhomes. The town received sketch and preliminary plan approvals for the development previously. The site, as I noted, is a vacant parcel, and it is adjacent to the Willits Lake. It's located in the urban growth boundary and is designated as community facility with an affordable housing overlay in the future land use map. The review process is a PUD process. It includes a sketch plan, a preliminary plan, and a final plan review, and entails the Basalt Affordable Community Housing Commission, P&Z, and council review the project at each level of review. And we're at the final plan review phase, and the sketch and preliminary were previously approved. The proposal is pretty consistent with the sketch and preliminary plan approvals. The application contains 16 two-bedroom units. They're proposed to be a mix of categories 3, 4, and 5, and they're proposed to be for-sale units. There are 39 off-street parking spaces that are proposed, and they consist of 2 for each unit, and then there are 4 guest spaces and 3 ADA spaces on the site. The building is proposed to be 3 stories, as you saw in the elevations, with a at-grade parking garage on the first floor and then 2 floors of residential above. Similar to the sketch and preliminary plan phases. There was a minor adjustment between the preliminary plan and the final plan that was at the direction of the town council. 2 of the parking spaces were moved from the south side to the north side to provide less impact on the adjacent lakeside townhomes. In reviewing the application, staff identified discussion items that are in your memo. They included consistency with the master plan, compatibility with the neighborhood, parking, consistency with the community housing guidelines, traffic, the green building, SBR, and wildfire protection, and then the town's referral comments. In evaluating the application, in terms of consistency with the master plan, the P&Z and council determined the program and design to be consistent with the master plan at the preliminary plan phase, in that it's in the urban growth boundary and it's consistent with the future land use map designations. It also satisfies the goals of creating housing near transit, that are outlined in your staff memo and were discussed at the preliminary plan phase. In terms of compatibility with the neighborhood, the P&Z determined the design to be compatible at the sketch and preliminary plan levels. The height is consistent with the other multifamily development in the area, including the Lake Modern project on Parcel 5, the Park Modern project on Evans Road, as well as the Lakeside Townhomes. And it is also consistent in terms of form with the parking on the first floor with 2 levels of residential above to those other projects. In terms of parking, as I noted, it meets code requirement of 2 spaces per unit. And it's noted that some of the parking displaces some of the parking in the rugby field lot. The town is looking at budgeting in the next couple of years for the widening of a portion of East Valley Road to add some on-street parking in the area to kind of help mitigate those spaces that are being lost. Other items include consistency with the community housing guidelines. The design team can go over this in more detail, but Bach reviewed the sketch plan and the preliminary plan and the final plan and found them all to be consistent with the livability requirements in the housing guidelines. And they also meet the requirements of having 50 square foot of deck to meet the private open space requirements in the town code. Other topics included traffic. There was a report provided as part of the sketch and the preliminary plan, and CDOT reviewed that report and confirmed that an access permit is not required for the development, in that much of the traffic was already in the prior traffic studies for Cypress Meadows that was allocated for this property. In terms of green building and wildfire protection, we've got conditions in the draft conditions that are in your memo that would require compliance with those standards that are in place at the time of permit. And that's important because the wildfire code is changing here. It's in the process of changing. Other topics included referral comments. The fire district required that the project meet the sprinkler requirements, but that they felt the site layout met their requirements and works for them. Public Works also made comments. Their primary comments are that the shed and nursery that are on site for the parks offices will need to be replaced, and that the trash area and ADA pad should be made of concrete. So the design team and staff will look at that. They thought that the pad should be concrete for lessening future maintenance requirements. And then Fire and Public Works, their comments are included in the draft conditions. Other conditions to highlight, there is a requirement for the need for the utility easements for Mid-Valley Metro to be adjusted prior to the building permit. It also is required that the minor subdivision plat to adjust the lot line between this property and the park be recorded prior to permit, and that the deed restrictions also be executed and required before permit. The conditions would grant 3 years of vested rights, which is the standard code requirement for vested rights, and allows for the town to come back in the future if we need more time through the extension of vested rights process. So overall, staff this evening would recommend hearing some additional comments from design team in terms of details and adjustments, and then taking public comment and providing P&Z discussion. And ultimately, staff would recommend the commission provide a recommendation of approval to the town council. So with that, I'll stop sharing my screen and turn it over to design team.
Scott is going to share his screen, and James is always so thorough. But we do have just a couple of things to elaborate on, just some of the changes that we've made between preliminary and now. All the changes that you're going to see are pretty minor, and let's just skip, I think, over the context and go right to the site plan. So, and may I borrow your mouse so I can point at things? Excellent. Oops.
Watch out for Speed's nasty lag.
Is there?
Yeah.
Okay. I won't zoom around like a maniac.
Ben, if you want to stay, just bring your name tag.
Grab that. Yeah. Name tag, Rob.
Don't forget your name tag.
Unless you want to go by Rob.
I mean, it's got carries weight in this town.
So a couple of minor changes have been made since when your team saw this last and now, primarily related to giving additional space to our neighbors on the south for landscape screening. So when we were discussing this with council, we were directed to look at providing additional space for landscape screening on the south, which we achieved by removing 2 of the parking spaces that were here, which had pushed the paving very close to the southern property boundary. And instead of losing those parking spaces, we moved them to the north. So the other change that came with that is that the boundary of the lot line adjustment, and therefore the square footages of the lots that are being adjusted, are now different than when you saw them at preliminary plan. So we have the 2 additional parking spaces were moved here. This necessitated the narrowing of this parking island here. And then with those changes, we made a couple of other updates. So we shifted the WeCycle station into this area, made some sidewalk connection adjustments. And so there's just a few changes that kind of occurred on this north side. What this gained us is more space on the south side for green space in between us and our neighbors. And we have a little bit of a planting plan that's easier to see that now all this that was parking basically directly to the property line now has space for planting and screening. Outside of that, the remainder is pretty much the same as you saw it at preliminary. So just to kind of walk you back through what's happening, we have our main vehicular access goes straight through and under the building, comes out and connects to the existing parking area in the rugby field parking lot. We have primary outdoor gathering space for residents here on the south, which consists of gathering spaces in a grill area. We have bicycle parking here on the north, and then we have lockable enclosed bicycle shed here also on the north. We have the trash recycling compost in the middle of those things, and then mail is here. And so we also have fire truck access coming off right here across from East Valley Road, and that's what these 2 kind of tracks here are. And then this area is blocked out for, obviously, dump truck access. That's the overall gist of the site plan that you've seen before. So I don't want to belabor it too much. Jay can add a little bit of flavor and color to the things that we did on the north as well, like in terms of kind of a sidewalk expansion and things like that.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it was really kind of satisfying to update that parking lot just because it was kind of crooked and there was a lot of weird angles and it wasn't really maximizing the square footage. So we were able to widen the drive aisle, so that it's easier to drive through there. And then we were also able to straighten out all the parking spaces so that they're just kind of nice transitions between throughout that parking lot. And also you can kind of see on the north side here, we were able to make a connection because this actually didn't even connect to the bike path over here. So we were able to put a crosswalk in here and then put a path with some steps that go up and tie into that. And then there's also a ADA ramp that wraps up further that way, right there. So overall, just circulation accessibility has been increased in that area as well.
And there's a sign this little, that black thing, right, the signage
Yep, so
for the property.
one of the things that we discussed potentially here and definitely with council was exploring a gate or creation of some kind of threshold to indicate that this area is for residents, this is resident parking, et cetera. A gate was not feasible. There was a lot of logistics and cars in and out and fire truck and et cetera, et cetera. So what we discussed was at the point where that is narrowing with the two parking islands coming together, we would just create a sign that would, and I believe the development maybe even has a name. I feel like I saw a name on something.
Yeah, the
We're trying to call it pitch view.
pitch view.
Pitch View, yes. So it would have, you know, a little kind of sign indicating that you're entering into a private, you know, kind of residential parking area in lieu of a gate.
Okay. I'm gonna skip through anything else on.
No, no, excellent.
So in the packet, there's a lot of extra information in there, the lighting, we don't have to run through it all. But that's in there for everyone to see if you have questions. The civil drawings are very technical and in-depth. Just runs
Dang, those
through
look good, though.
everything,
Look at that, look at that, look at the big screen.
That's where the submittal goes. It's just super technical on the landscape side. And then this is tree removal and mitigation plan in there. And then we'll jump to the architectural side. So on the building itself, very little has changed. We're kind of massaging it as we're wrapping up. We're in the design development phase. So different than what was in the packet you guys saw, right? Things are kind of transitioning, so I figured I'd just put it in there. This was the old plan that you saw before. It's very similar, but now with the new one, I can just show you that live tonight, is this. There've been a couple of adjustments which only make it better, which I'm excited. I think these plans just keep getting better, which is really cool. I'm excited for everyone who's gonna live here. It's still the two-bedroom setup that it was before. We've got a little bit of a bump out on the living room just to articulate the facade and make it more interesting. So we can see that, you know, across the street. Yay, we got rid of the little mechanical P-tack in the corner. I am not a fan of those, so we are now going through different mechanical setup. We'll have rooftop units, and then with, you know, the cassettes and heads in the units. So we didn't lose that. If you saw before, we lost that square footage in the front of the living room, which is very frustrating. So now we have more open square footage. Then also running through this, I can't believe Bill's not here, to run through, we went through and did all the ANSI check. There's only 16 units, so these are all type B units, which can be convertible, but we don't have to put in grab bars, but there will be blocking, everything's ready to go for accessibility. But with that, there are a couple little changes. So there was a water heater closet back where this bathroom was. And then with the clearance requirements, well, hey, the bathroom's better and bigger. So this bathroom has a shower, has the toilet, the sink, and then the washer and dryer in there because of reach and maneuverability. So this is a fully compliant bathroom. It's not ADA compliant, but it's per the ANSI. Entry is still the same, but you know, we can have some hooks. Bedroom on this side with closet, same size as it was before. The kitchen's a little different. With this arrangement and moving it around and with the little add in the furniture, we're able to do a kitchen. Wanted to get an entry closet, so we were able to make the kitchen a little bigger. We added an island on the side, so the dining area is a little smaller. But I think maneuverability, or for a family, we have the bar, plus you have a small dining table. Your livable living room is a little bit bigger, actually, so I think this works better. We have, again, as you come in, you have a coat closet, you have refrigerator, the range, cooktop, hood. We're way over the minimum for counter space, which is great. We get a sink at the end, upper cabinets, and then the island with the dishwasher and more cabinetry there. So much more storage and capacity in here than we had before. So I think the kitchen is 10 times better than it was before. The other one was nice, it was nice and open, but just has more storage, which is great. Going into the primary bedroom, same setup, but we took a little bit out of the primary closet for the water heater, so that will be in there for easy access. And then the primary bath, very similar, but we get a little linen closet, sink, toilet, tub, and then there's some, the requirements for turning around and things like that for wheelchair access are in there. So that has helped make the unit overall better inside, I believe. And balcony, as we said before, 50 square feet. Those are the square footages, and then we can jump to the plans, very similar as they were before, kind of fine tuning things again with fire sprinkler, water entry room. We've got the storage units and a screen here. I think you saw that before, but I'm not sure. So what if you didn't, the garage area is very much in kind of the entry area. So we've got a little privacy screen wall to block those entries, make them feel more private from the garage. And then the storage units next to them to kind of flank and help with that privacy, give it a better sense of entry. Second level, same as it was before, so all the units kind of stack on top of each other. Our egress, our storage units. Same thing on the third floor, same as you saw before. Moving on to a little bit more detail on the elevations, we're getting into more of the materiality of it. We're anticipating the new fire codes, so everything will be non-combustible on the outside. So we'll be investigating cement board siding or possibly the metal siding that has wood grain. We can play with different things, but the cement board siding and the metal siding, metal's a little bit more expensive. So again, we'll have to be going through budget numbers with the contractor and figure out, what's the most affordable thing. Privacy screen, the same thing. We can't use wood, so we'll be using some sort of metal or composite for those screen walls there. We've kind of gone through and, manipulated the openings of those screen walls a little bit to make it nicer and have more justification architecturally with alignments. The balconies, very similar to what you saw across the street. So those are kind of accessory aluminum balconies we have for each unit. Same thing with the other elevations. No real updates on those, just materiality and fine tuning all the details. And in DD, we get into what are the assemblies and insulation and all those little fine details, what materials we're using inside and outside. The height, same as before. And then the 3D views, these are the same, very similar to what you saw before. Maybe some fine tuning of colors and windows, but very much the same project. But I feel it's actually getting better, which is great. That's it. Open to questions.
Cool. Thank you. We will open it for questions. Start with Bob.
I don't believe I have any questions. We were filled in pretty thoroughly in our last meeting.
It looks like there's a pretty large recycle station. Is that in addition to all the existing recycles in the area, or is it gonna kind of absorb the one at Lakeside, or is it all additional?
This is intended to be additional, I believe.
That's all I got.
A couple questions here. How are you planning on satisfying the site triangle needs that the Public Works Director brought up, in addition to Chris's discussion about tree discontinuity?
Let's go to the site plan. And I don't have the Public Works comments in front of me, so if you want to elaborate.
It's that tree, the tree on the south side.
Tree on the south side, and you have a new tree on that
Right
side, and
there.
looks like there's existing trees as well.
Yes, so in terms of the site triangle here,
For that one.
Got
Yeah,
three
for
trees
that one.
clustered in that area.
yeah. So in terms of the site triangle here, I believe what we discussed, Jay, was that this tree isn't, oh my goodness, stop touching.
What we had discussed was that, as we looked into it more, if we were hoping that we could potentially just trim the tree so that it would allow for adequate visibility. while still maintain the tree. But, if it gets to that point, then we would just replace the tree in another location that allows for better visibility.
We really didn't want to cut it down. Because
It's a beautiful tree.
It's just making Chris really sad too.
It's a beautiful tree.
It is, and so what we discussed is that, because it has the ability to be trimmed up above the, what is it, 6 feet or 8 feet, or what do you need to keep it out of the visibility triangle?
I believe it is 8 feet.
Yeah, I think it's big enough that we can trim it up
Okay.
out of the 8 feet, and so our hope is to keep it.
Are all the proposed trees also going to fall color the way the East Valley Road does? 'Cause it's a beautiful.
It really is, and you can see it from the highway, and I have to, let me look at my.
It's a true character of this road. I'm just curious.
Yeah,
I
we do
can't
have-
quite see your planting plan. It's really small on my
Yeah,
screen.
These are maples, so this is a maple and this is a maple, so
Great.
that will color up.
Got big shoes to fill, Sarah.
I know,
I-
right? It is so beautiful. Yeah, we do have
It
some
is
maples in there. We were trying to get, so one of the things that we didn't do, and when we can talk about this, is like, right now, all of this is a single species of tree.
Uh-huh.
And we didn't replace it with that same single species of tree, although we do have another maple going in. We were trying to get a little bit more diversity in the canopy.
Okay.
But that is something that we can talk about because that is very distinctive going down that road, especially in the fall. It's
Yep.
stunning. And, so we can talk as a team about, does the biodiversity, the canopy diversity come in a little deeper into the site and, maybe we do maintain that continuity.
Okay. And then no issues with the turning movement of the trash trucks?
So the trash trucks, it's a little bit of a tricky scenario to where they would most likely be using the existing parking lot access to the north.
Uh-huh.
And kind of, they're gonna have to pull in there and then they're gonna have to back out of there. It definitely isn't the most ideal for the trash trucks. That being said, hopefully majority of the time when the trash trucks are running, those parking lots will be, at least the one for the park, will a lot of the time be emptier. So, a lot of the time they should be able to hopefully turn around within the footprint of that parking lot. If we are having issues, then, maybe we can look at giving them access to that fire truck pull-off to where they would be able to pull in that direction.
Okay. No further questions?
Sydney?
I just have one, and I don't want you to spend too much time on this, but can you briefly explain again what architectural wizardry you use to enlarge the bathroom and the kitchen and add an entrance hallway within the same space?
It's like the Doctor Who phone booth.
It's the same square footage, Cindy, but it just moves some things around. And it's a different type of mechanical unit. So in the living room, we had a mechanical closet
Right.
with a P-tack on it. So that takes away from the living room space. So by opening that up, it gives you the feeling that the room is bigger, so you have walls next to the doors. Easier to just manipulate some of that. And then also this water heater. Again, it's not necessarily losing or taking away, but the closet was over in this corner. So by moving it into the primary closet, which was very generous, it gave this corner to the bathroom. So they gained that little corner area. So now we have washer, dryer, shower, sink, and toilet in a little different configuration. So before it was kind of jig jog. You had the sink, the toilet, the washer, dryer, and the shower, and they were
Okay.
kind of offset from each other. And with the accessibility requirements, we were able to kind of get those to push back, give more floor space in the middle for that accessibility, get a bigger door in, and then that space feels bigger and more spacious, more usable.
Okay, I see. And it looks like the entry hallway was there all along. It just looks more visible in the second
Yes.
drawing.
Yeah, again, it's all these little, it finessed a little bit because there's a 18-inch clearance on the pull side And then another clearance on the push. So there's some little finessing there that makes it, give it a little bit more spacious feel. And then again, with that, adding the pantry, or sorry, could be pantry, but the coat closet next to it, also, it just helps. And then the kitchen itself, it's more lineal footage, of cabinetry, which is more storage, that I think most families need.
Okay, thanks. I was just curious.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
I do not have any questions, so I will open it up for a public hearing at 6:35. I don't see anybody here. James, you want to do the online thing, or
Yeah,
move past that now?
we can do that quickly. If you are watching the YouTube and you would like to provide comments to the P&Z on this application, you can go on the Town of Basalt website and go to agendas and minutes and go to the May 5th P&Z agenda, and you can jump on the Zoom link that's on that agenda and provide comments. We'll give you 45 seconds. Yeah, we don't have the Jeopardy.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like somebody should have a joke prepared for that 45 seconds. Like to just tell in the interim.
Come on.
All of mine are off color.
She works for Lionheart, it all makes sense.
Seeing as we have no comments, we will close the public hearing at 6:36, and I will open up for commissioner comments. We'll go opposite direction. Cindy, any comments?
I do not have any additional comments.
A couple here. The first one is to the town. In sketch plan review and preliminary review, I brought up the need for improvements to the bus pathing there at Lake Avenue at the Mid-Valley Medical Center.
Sure.
There is no receiving ramp on that side of the goat track. We are calling this TOD. We are putting recycle stations in there, and then we are asking our citizens to hop a curb at one of the most dangerous bus intersections that we have in the Mid-Valley. I think it behooves the town to fix that intersection and provide better pedestrian transportation. As a part of this project, that would be an important addition. Lastly, thank you all for the effort here. It's a marvelous to see it grow and develop. Jay, if the contractor writes you a single RFI, I hope you create a very snide comment back, because there's an incredible level of constructability in these plans. So thank you for that. That should get the most accurate pricing for the town.
Yeah, I think the movement of the parking spots is positive. I think it was close to the adjacent neighbor there, so I think that's a positive. I would be curious on if we are able to kind of tuck the trash back a little bit and make that so they didn't have to back out. If there is some small adjustments that we can finagle as part of construction documents, I think that would be positive, but overall I think it's a great project.
I also feel it's a great project. Excited to see it come to fruition. The whole lake area is coming closer to being completed, with more of the park moderns being built. This has been an empty hole there for many years. I'm sure it will pass. I will be voting against the measure, and it's a message to the town council that this should have been done in its original form of 14 units, and I feel strongly that they should not have crammed in 2 more units. It's too much bulk for that space. It's too close to the neighbors, and that's why you originally had 14 units. And I think it's a precursor for what the town is going to try to do at Cypress Meadows 2E. And I've said, I actually told Michelle many months ago, we need to be careful to develop in a smart way that's not putting buildings that are too big for that envelope. I think what you have here is that. And totally for affordable housing, I think we need a bunch, but we can't overlook our other needs and our long-term beauty of Willets for getting a few more units here and there. So I will be voting against it.
On the flip side, I thought you did a good job going from 14 to 16 and trying to make it where it wasn't overburdensome. Not to.
No.
I understand your point. Just on the flip side, the little changes in the apartments look great. I appreciate the fact when you were talking about the trash and recycling, you threw in composting as collection. I would make sure that we include that as it's becoming more and more common in the valley. I think it's a great project.
Thank you.
On that note, how would we like to proceed?
Motion to approve as staff has suggested?
First, do we have a second?
Second.
Beat you to the punch.
There you go.
James, you want a roll call or?
Let's do roll call.
Okay.
We will go with Ben.
Yay.
We will go with Mike.
Yes.
Bob.
No.
Cindy.
Yes.
And Eric.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-1.
Fantastic. Good luck.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Well done.
Guys,
Thank you
Well
so
done.
much.
appreciate all your comments and thought,
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
always getting better.
As we adjust, the next item on our agenda then is the Eagle County referral on the Fields Development application at 554 Valley Road. We adjust. Carlton, I think this is you, correct?
Fields is just like a nightmare
coming
that
back.
keeps coming back.
Different though, it's different this time.
Different this time, okay. I guess I didn't get that far in the project.
Different with similar.
That's our urban sprawl corridor.
Right. Good evening, Planning and Zoning. Carlton Henry, Planner 2 at the Town of Basalt, here to present referral application from Eagle County for the Fields, which is a 4-part application for sketch and preliminary subdivision plan, a 1041 application, a zone district map amendment, and variance from improvement standards. The Town of Basalt has been given the opportunity to provide referral comments on this application, as the application falls on a parcel within the town's 3-mile planning area. The proposal is for residential development of 41 residential units on 35 distinct lots on a parcel of approximately 19 acres in size. The parcel is located southeast of the intersection of Highway 82 and Valley Road, south of Highway 82 and north of Valley Road. The subject property, as I mentioned, is slightly over 19 acres in size and is currently zoned rural residential per the Eagle County land use regulations. The Fields Development Group LLC, which will be further referred to as the applicant, is proposing development of the site, as I mentioned, with 35 subdivided lots, which are composed of 29 free market single-family residences and 12 deed-restricted duplexes. I have included a vicinity map as part of the application here. That was included in your packet, but as mentioned in a couple different ways, the site is located north of Valley Road and south of 82, just to the west of the Summit Vista subdivision. The comments that have been provided for your review in your agenda item this evening have been separated out just for ease of consideration into the 4 separate applications: the sketch and preliminary subdivision plan, the zone district map amendment, the 1041 application, and then the variance from improvement standards. Planning staff included comments related to 3 of the 4 applications, however, did not include comments related to the 1041 application. Staff received referral comments from Basalt Police Department today, which will be included at the end of the week. We did not receive those in time to include those as part of your packet. Additionally, the town engineer and public works staff are reviewing the 1041 application and variance from improvement standards application to provide additional technical comments related to those two applications. As mentioned, staff provided ample comments related to the development as a whole and is seeking planning and zoning commission's comments, questions, concerns, and will be providing the actual referral letter after moving on from its draft form as you see it currently by the end of the week. Also, as a part of your agenda item, staff has provided several reference documents attached to the staff memo, including a vicinity map, an illustrative site plan, and the applicant's narrative. Just a note on the review process, decisions on this proposal will be made through a development review process, which includes review by county staff, who will then provide a recommendation to the Roaring Fork Valley Regional Planning Commission. Approval at a public hearing at both that planning commission and the Eagle County BOCC respectively will be required for this development proposal. James, if you have any other historical detail or notes you'd like to add, offer that to you. Otherwise, we can accept questions.
I would just add that, you know, there have been several applications on the Fields property over time, and the town has made comments on the Fields applications in the past. This one does have less density than has been proposed in the past. However, our comments are still pretty similar to prior town comments, mainly centered around the fact that it's outside the urban growth boundary, and the town's master plan, you know, encourages all suburban level development and urban level development to be in the town's urban growth boundary or the Algebel urban growth boundary, and it's not in either in the Basalt master plan. So you'll see comments associated with that. In addition, in the past, there have been comments related to traffic in the intersection there at Algebel Road. Eagle County is making improvements to the intersection at Algebel Road. However, it's the town's understanding that they're not actually increasing capacity at the intersection. So, you know, there's potential issues there, and there's a comment related to that in the draft memo. We'd be happy to go over the rest of the comments if you have questions on them or if you'd like us to. Otherwise, we're happy to entertain comments.
Questions, anybody? Keep it open.
I've got some questions. Reading through our draft letter, it reads like NIMBY, keep Basalt, rural language. I think if the applicant, James, as you have said, has reduced density in this area, the master plan sections that we are using to push back on them feel punitive in nature. If I look at the area, again, I'm not familiar with this applicant at all. I am familiar with the area. And I am familiar with the challenges that surround this area, namely its proximity to Forest Service land, and therefore its inability to construct the necessary infrastructure along East Valley Road to allow the achievable points that we are stating within our letter to the applicant. The right-of-way, at the edge of Valley Road is Forest Service land, and the Forest Service U.S. Forest Service, federals, will not allow us to not allow any development along that whole south side, whether it's this applicant or any other applicant, and obviously all the other development of the housing communities along Summit and in that neighborhood prevent, those private lots prevent any development on the north side from an infrastructure standpoint. If I look at this lot in relation to its adjacent lots, I see single-family homes at a 3/4 to or a 1/3 to a 1/2 acre as well. If I look across the street, I see the same thing in Blue Lake. I don't necessarily think that the development as it is proposed here, variances aside, requests aside, is not in the character of the adjacent areas. And especially after hearing that this applicant has provided density in this area and been pushed back on density in this area, now they're coming back with something that is more akin to its neighbors, and we're still using the same, our language actually says we want density, as I read how we've pulled from the master plan, that we are encouraging those things.
Not in those locations, however.
But not in those locations. But we're also not encouraging any development in those locations, be it single-family homes or inventory at all. And I think that those things are in tension with each other.
I can respond to that. I think comment 9 particularly, which is labeled as page 3 in the memo, at the bottom of page 3 in the memo, kind of addresses some of this balance. I think I would note that the application is proposing highly resource intense, low density, suburban, sprawling development, which is physically disconnected from the rest of the infrastructure in the town's urban growth boundary.
Okay.
And, while there are balances in, encouraging development or directing development in a place such as this valley where we have a mix of, urban or clustered development and rural development, some of those things do come into conflict sometimes. And I would just note that staff has done our best to balance the directives in the master plan in both of those directions. And I think that there are conflicts that exist on this site. Should development be proposed on this site, which is in line with Eagle County's rural residential district and in line with the town's urban growth boundary, that the town staff may have drafted some different comments with regard to the proposed development. If there was additional density, I think the town would have the direction for Eagle County staff and for the applicant to have the appropriate infrastructure to support that. And negotiation over things like the VIS application, I think, could be a little bit more directed on what's possible and what's not. With regard to your comments, I think questions, I think they're well taken. And I would just ask if there were individual objectives that you object to including.
3.1F, strong physical connection between neighborhood schools and commercial centers. I mean, we're adjacent, houses are adjacent to houses. Quality community that meets or exceeds the plan's policies, does not meet the financial burden, or discourages affordable housing. There's affordable housing in this. It meets their standards.
So I would say 2G was included because discourage affordable housing projects that are not connected to the transit system or which do not have a well-lighted, safe, protected pedestrian access to and from transit stops.
It's not possible to put a multi-use path in there.
So to our point then, should development
Just not exist? Like, is that the response here, is that because we can't create a multimodal path because it either goes through private property of all the adjacent residential houses, or it's asking the feds for an easement, which the feds aren't gonna grant? Is this just not developable?
I would say that it's incompatible with our comprehensive planning.
I would say, this is really a discussion for the
Yeah.
P and Z, so if P and Z agrees with some of your points, then, there could be consideration.
Say questions now, comments, so we don't get too far down the discussion side of it.
Sorry.
To clarify, and then we can come back to the point we're making.
Because their VIS application is asking for variances on all of the infrastructure that I'm talking about.
Right, right.
Correct.
And I would say that the town's engineer and public works staff are going to provide more detailed comments to those effect. The town planning staff has tried our best to respond to the VIS application strictly on a planning basis with, the information that we have available, without opining too much in the technical details that are outside of our purview.
And realize we will not get a crack at this from a planning perspective. We get a perspective of, this is for the town of Basalt, from a planning perspective of what we would like them to include in when they look at this.
Correct, and town council doesn't get a crack at this either, right?
No.
No, it's only us as the voice of the town.
Correct.
Um,
And I will say, our comments are kind of grounded in our master plan, which is typically the case. Generally, we as the town are supposed to be providing our referral comments based on what our master plan says and not Eagle County's, so.
Has there been any discussion between Eagle County and the town of Basalt as it relates to this parcel or this applicant?
Yeah, in the past, there's a lot of history to it. It goes all the way back to when they were, Eagle County was doing the Mid-Valley Community Plan, something like that. And, there was discussion at the Regional Planning Commission when they were talking about their future land use map, and this is probably 10 years ago or more.
When was that meeting we had with them? 8 years ago, something like that?
So I've got 2 dates for you guys. The initial appears to be in 2012 and then an update in 2018.
Yeah, so back in 2012, when they were doing the Mid-Valley Area Community Plan, the Regional Planning Commission was discussing the future land use designation for this property, and it was originally identified as a low-density residential, and the Regional Planning Commission, against the town's referral and comments, chose to make it a higher density designation in their master plan. And so ever since, we've had these applications with higher density than, was permitted in the town's master plan because of the town's urban growth boundary. So that's just history. And obviously it's caused comments from the town in the past to kind of be negative in terms of having density on a site that's outside the urban growth boundary. And so that's, just some background.
I can note, just in response to the question about adjacent densities, Summit Vista has the same long-range designation of
Yep.
moderate density residential. However, Summit Vista is also located outside of the town's urban growth boundary.
But it's a lot older.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not a lot older, but it's funny how the map lines go around as to what has been or hasn't been developed.
And part of the discussion at that point with the Regional Planning Commission was that, you don't really have traffic capacity there, so.
I don't disagree. I could write a dissertation on that left onto 82.
Right, and we have the Aspen One development north of.
It's on the other
82.
side of the road.
We can, again, let's focus questions first. We can have
Yeah.
we're gonna have this discussion, but if we get too far down the track, then we lose track of getting the questions and.
No further questions. Thank you.
Cindy, any questions?
Yeah, I don't have any questions.
Questions, gentlemen?
Do we know if the applicants approached the Forest Service about an easement for a multimodal path on any level?
I do not know that.
I do.
What's the answer?
The answer is they have.
And the Forest Service said no.
The Forest Service doesn't even pick up the phone. the Forest Service has been gutted there in the White River side. Yeah.
Okay.
I have no questions.
Do you know the answer if it stays as rural residential as zoned, how many parcels or how many units they can put on?
I believe it's 1 unit per 2 acres, if I'm remembering correctly.
It's rural residential.
Yeah, so that would be 9,
Okay.
maybe 10 in rounding.
Clarification.
Yeah. Versus 41 units as proposed.
Yeah.
The moderate density residential is allows up to 7 units per acre, so they're significantly beneath their
Yeah.
permitted.
This is not public hearing, right? This is just us as a referral, correct? So I don't have to open up.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, coming back to the discussion then.
Yeah.
Ben, obviously you've got some issues with how the letter's drafted, and I don't want to push back on that, but I do know, other history from the side of P and Z is every development, everything that has been proposed through Eagle County, we make referral comments and our comments get nothing.
Yeah.
And so on the flip side of it, and having been on P and Z with the master planning, I actually think the letter is very strong and very clear in what the town has said, this is what we want for Basalt. So it might sound like NIMBYism, but we said in the master plan, we want things in the urban growth boundary connected to our, our transportation systems, our communities as they're developed, with less development on the periphery. So yes, you're right, this development proposal seems to fit more with what's around it than the past one, which was 150 units.
Correct.
I agree with you completely, but it still doesn't match what we want as a town or what we voted on. So I would push back a little bit about the NIMBYism, saying this is what we want.
And what did the town, or does the town want as part, that we want connection, we want the infrastructure in place, we want the safety from traffic, we want, is that the ultimate want? That's what I'm trying to get at here. I'm not trying to say this is bad for us. I'm just trying to get at, if the applicant is currently attempting to zone at 7 units per acre and they're going in at 2 units per acre, essentially, or yeah, almost.
Approximately,
Whatever.
yeah.
Yeah.
Can I add something?
Mm-hmm.
I don't see it as meeting all those requirements as being a goal of this recommendation or the letter. I think, to me, the spirit of it is that this is just not the right place anymore for this kind of thing, and here are some concrete reasons why. But in general, I didn't take the tone of the letter to be negative. It is firmly worded, and I think, to me, it's a positive for the town to take a stand, because this piece of property has been controversial over the last however many years it's been since proposals. And I think people are pissed about this. I don't think anybody wants to see a big development go in here. I think it would be kind of a breaking point in the valley. I think we're just at this point now where people are really getting tired of seeing development after development and the traffic increasing. And I don't know what will happen with Eagles County side of this, but I think this will also, just like what was the one down valley that everyone just spoke out? The Harvest, yeah. Sure, they have the right to build there and everything, but I think my sense in the valley is people are at the point of thinking enough is enough. So I don't have a problem with the town taking a stand on that.
Would it be, and this, I can just toss this out here, would it be beneficial for us to go section by section on these comments? Walk through, or?
Maybe we
before
could
we
hear
do
the
that,
rest
yeah,
of
let's hear
P&Z's
the-
comments and, yeah.
Bob, Mike, anything to throw in?
Go ahead, Bob.
I agree, particularly since we have a history of Eagle County not listening to us, that we continue to be ardent and strident in our position. and perhaps they'll hear some of it, and they will, be more conservative in what they do allow there. And it clearly does not fit our master plan, absolutely. There clearly is not multimodal transportation there. It clearly is a far distance to the nearest, well, it's relatively close to the bus station, and it adds so much more traffic to that intersection, which already, is busy and is going to get worse. So
Sorry.
for all those reasons, it's not ideal. It's not within what we want, but we don't have much power. So we should at least tell them what we really want and see what we get, see how much they listen to us. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a fine line of, it's a referral comment, and
Yep.
it's tough. I think we should hold our stance. I think I lived in Missouri Heights for 7 years, and that intersection is terrible. And we just and Eagle County continues to just develop around that intersection, the Willits intersection, and there's never public improvement to any of it, ever, seemingly. And I don't know what level of service it has to get to for them to even think about that.
It's already at F.
Exactly. And so it's just, how does the town manage that? And for its existing residents, I get we need housing and there's competing interests here. I think it probably should be smaller than what is proposed. Personally, I think as it should kind of ramp up from half a unit per acre, to 2, and maybe it's more in the range of 1 to 1.5 on this. And so it kind of ramps up because you see Summit Vista, then you see the Skico housing, and there's a clear growth into that stuff. I have a hard time supporting just endless subdivision development without supporting infrastructure. And that's not, again, I think we need housing, but like Bob said in the last one, there's a responsible way to develop. I don't think this fits that mold.
Completely agree with everything you're saying there. Like, we need the infrastructure improvements. They continue to put all of the weight here on Elgebel. I'm not at all advocating that we continue to obfuscate and defer maintenance throughout Valley Road. It is an atrocity. I, through my connections with the park, know that they have been in touch with the Forest Service and attempted to make those improvements and have been rebuffed. And the north side obviously has private land, and those owners, are challenging as well, which just creates a quagmire in Valley Road on the south side. And Bob, to your point, the stuff on the north side of the road is coming. The intersection at Valley Road and Blue Lake is one of the most dangerous in our mid-valley, and it sees way too much traffic as it is, and that wholeheartedly needs to be improved. So I completely agree that even the VIS application that they're asking for doesn't even give a consent. What's the word I'm looking for?
Consideration.
A consideration or an alternate option. It just says we can't do it. We can't do it. We can't do it. We can't do it. And in understanding the potential conversations that have been happening in the background, they are trying to make some improvements elsewhere, but it's not here in Valley Road, which is the one thing that's circulating all of the flow and the connection and all of that. I completely agree. All those folks are literally just going south into a gravel path along Crown Mountain Park to get to the TOD. Yeah.
So, Ben, you brought up that you thought the letter was worded a little strongly. What would you suggest differently? Because it sounds like we have kind of a consensus that...
We completely have a consensus. I just wanted to understand is us as planning and zoning, or us as the town, more frustrated with Mike, your comments in saying that another subdivision is coming without creating any infrastructure improvements, or is our view in planning and zoning, we don't like development in here, period, regardless of the steps that you are taking to reduce your footprint of use?
I think I could take that twofold. I think one would be, we have an urban growth boundary, and, if the applicant proposed coming to the town and, meeting our master plan and, changing that to make this a part of, the larger Basalt community, and then was making those infrastructure improvements, I think it would meet our, staff and planning and zoning's directives to responsible growth and smart growth. So I think that would be one piece of it. And the other would be, we would be looking at it different if this was a different application with regard to density for the site itself. Meeting Eagle County's long-range planning and their zoning, their land use designation on the site. So, ultimately we're not designing the site, and I have ideas for, what could go there, but, ultimately that's not really our job here.
And I think, there is proposed development in the town that is going to use that access as that intersection as access. And, what we've been constrained to in the past is redevelopment that doesn't increase the traffic generation at that intersection. And so you're going to have some conversations on future applications soon about that. And it's kind of been the town's direction to those applicants to, keep your development within your current traffic generation on the site. And so this is kind of a different scenario than kind of what the town's direction has been to our applicants.
Because this site is viewed as rural residential.
Right.
From the ITE. Okay.
Can staff touch on the proposed improvements at Elgerbell Road?
Yeah, I can touch on that a little bit. I got into that as part of this review, which I found to be quite interesting. It's our understanding that the level of service at the Elgerbell Road intersection with Highway 82 is restricted there due to some conversations or negotiations between Eagle County and CDOT. CDOT is not willing to change the signalization to increase the cross traffic in the left turn movement, both up and down valley at that intersection, by reducing the word's escaping me here, but the time for the light, signal timing for the light.
Therefore, it's automatically level F because you've been waiting there for so long.
Correct.
Cycle.
So
Level of service is determined by timing of you sitting there.
yeah, and CDOT's not gonna change that timing to make 82 have a longer wait on, the primary corridor.
Yeah.
So the improvement is primarily to improve the movement of the right turn by providing a slip lane there at that intersection on the south side of 82.
To reduce queuing, backing up. into
Correct,
the-
and ideally improve the level of service there.
Yes.
So it's also our understanding through this application and the materials provided, as well as what we could find through Eagle County, that the additional density and vehicle trips proposed as part of this development were included in the access control permit application for Eagle County.
Say that again? So you're saying that they put this proposed density as within the access control plan for
That's
the
what the
redevelopment
applicant
at the
has
intersection?
shared, in their materials.
But
So
aren't we also talking about two different intersections?
there are two intersections, and I can touch on the Valley Road intersection as well, and it's my understanding that that intersection additionally can't improve the level of service because CDOT will not approve a signal there and will not signalize it. So for the
yeah.
same similar reasons, different infrastructure, that left movement at Valley Road can't be improved because it can't be signalized. So long as there's rush hour traffic and you have to shoot a gap across, you're going to be at a lower level of service there, so long as you're making safe driving decisions to get across
So is
there.
this development application thinking that the, whatever you call the intersection by Wendy's and
Elgibel.
with the
The
light,
Elgibel Road, we'll call it that,
would
yeah.
be the main access to it?
They've
Even though
proposed
it's
access,
closer to the other one?
access from both,
Okay.
as part of their traffic, impact study. And are claiming through their VIS application that they can't improve the level of service at either intersection due to constraints outside of
Okay.
Their
And,
control. Their
and no
control.
discussion, I know Pickens County is doing a lot of this right now, but the Michigan left,
What's that?
it is a U-turn. Essentially, you would
Correct,
block
you'd-
off the Valley Road and make, you block off the ability to pick a left at Valley Road, and you force everyone to go right in, right out. So right out, and then U-turn back around for.
So you would have to go, I guess, down to Catherine Road. right, to do
Well,
that?
they'd put in a new turn and acceleration lane.
Got it.
It would also restrict the movement from Blue Lake, but that's
It would also restrict the movement from Blue Lake, but
Yeah.
it,
Because you
it,
took
it,
the left turn out of Blue Lake.
No
There-
solutions.
When the intersection design at the Elgibel Road intersection was being designed, there's been many kind of options that have been looked at over time between Eagle County and the town, and CDOT was part of those conversations, and they did look at that at one point, and it wasn't chosen as kind of the improvement to be made there, but it was evaluated.
okay.
Yeah.
Does the Eagle County project improve capacity, the queuing capacity at that light on the
It-
south side?
it improves queuing capacity, but it does not improve the level of service. That's my understanding. At least for the
level
for
of
the
service is what it is
for the
during
failing
time,
movements, right? Yeah.
therefore-
Correct.
I think the only level of service that it seeks to improve is the right
Right turn.
through the slip lane.
And you're talking about, excuse me, the construction that's like about to take
About,
place
yes,
there?
correct, that they're
Okay.
staging for right
Yeah.
now.
So coming back to our letter. I'm gonna put it to you, Ben, do you wanna change the letter? Do you wanna suggest any changes? Cause if not, I'm gonna see if we have a motion to accept what is written.
I'm here as a support of the board. I just wanted to have the conversation as to
No, it's fair.
ultimately what steps the applicant is making and what constraints exist there. I completely agree. We cannot do more development without infrastructure improvements.
I wish I could speak to some of the questions for the applicant. Staff did invite the applicant team to join, and they did not feel compelled, so,
Tonight?
yeah.
Okay.
I think the one point that I think is the biggest piece that jumps out is 1.m in point 3. Encourage projects that would promote density so as to conserve other natural lands and open space and recreation of other uses to preserve the existing character. That is what I think jumped off the page to me, as we are arguing that this is too dense, even though they are reducing their density to what is maximally allowed, and yet we use the sense that would promote density.
Can you say again which one you're looking at?
Point 3 on page 2,
Roman
one-
numeral 3?
no, number 3,
Number
and then
three.
down below,
It's
1.m.
Okay.
Encourage projects that would promote density as to conserve other natural lands and open space, recreation, or other uses to preserve existing character. I agree with every single other part in that point, except for the word promote density.
I think that could be remedied by just adding within the town's urban growth
That's
boundary.
not what it says in the master.
I would, yeah,
It's directly from the master.
I know 1M is directly from master plan, but the word promote density and us saying that it's also too dense.
Well, we could put it in
Is-
square
is
brackets
intention.
to indicate.
I would-
mean,
But we're not
that's-
saying the
that's not
project's
a-
too dense, we're saying if, as per the, where this development is, it's not compatible because this density is not where we want density to be. It's not inside the urban growth
It's
boundary.
too dense at that location.
Yeah, but I understand.
We
I
do
understand what
promote
you're
density.
saying in that, Ben, in that particular sentence. That's why I think if you want to just
I'd be happy to strike.
Add the little note in, you know.
Or we can just take out one M.
Because they don't know off the top of their head, like, oh, that's a quote from the,
I think if there's anything
Basalt
that
master
reads
plan.
NIMBYism, it's that, the word promote density when
When we just
the
told
rest
those
of the
two
letter
words.
is talking about not promoting density.
I think Ben's got a good point there, and
Yeah.
I don't know that we should adjust it because it is directly from the master plan and we're citing.
But we could
master
strike
plan.
one M from the letter itself and just not include
Yep,
it.
right.
I would suggest striking it before amending it.
Do we then have a motion?
Yeah,
Motion to approve striking 1M.
From number 3.
Second?
well, can we just approve a motion to approve?
Yes.
Do a motion to approve the letter with one
M
M
being
struck
struck.
from it.
We have a first, we have a second. You want to
Yeah, we'll
roll or you want us to just vote?
Yeah, we'll call roll.
Okay.
We'll go with Ben.
yes.
We'll go with Bob.
Yes.
We'll go with Mike
Yes.
and Cindy
Yes.
and Eric.
Yes.
Motion passes.
And the last item on our agenda then is commissioner comments and staff updates.
Yes, staff updates. Your next meeting will be May 19th, and we'll be considering formal adoption of the Midland Avenue Design Guidelines. Says our meeting has ended after 40 minutes of idle time. That's interesting. Let me see if we can get that back real quick here to finish it.
Sorry for talking too much.
Recording in
No, no.
progress.
We're right on time.
No.
Back up. And other comments from staff, the Homestead shed that is on Homestead as you're moving towards the barber shop over there on the north side, you guys may know it. It is in serious disrepair, and town staff has had some structural engineers look at it, and the building official look at it. They're thinking we should remove it. So we wanted to give P&Z members a heads up in case you get comments. It's an old building, but it's very dilapidated and just kind of falling apart. It's not designated historic, and it's in the town's right-of-way. So we just wanted to give you the heads up in case you get questions or comments out there.
Not the barber shop, right?
No, not the barber shop, the shed.
It's the shed.
North
If you're
side.
looking at the barber shop a little left. And there's a little 2x4 trying to hold it up right now.
Yeah.
I walk past it like every
There's
day.
been
I'm
some
like,
rigging over time,
I'll step out on the road. Like, I'm like, I don't trust this
There
thing.
was
So,
some tin hanging out, but we got that out of there. We started looking at the whole shed and it.
yeah, there's some lean to it for sure.
And then other comments include that it's Christmas in May here. The town had purchased gift certificates at the end of last year, and they didn't get handed out for board members. So we're here to hand them out here in May.
You don't want to just wait until July?
Yeah, Christmas in July.
Yeah.
Okay.
That looks pretty good there. Yeah. Buy it on your way home.
It's 2021, so.
It's gone down.
Gravity's
Calm
doing
down.
its job.
And so we've got gift certificates for you. We've got Choice of Heathers, Art Base, or Bristlecone. So we'll hand those out here at the end of the meeting. Cool. We appreciate all your service.
I've got a couple updates.
Carlton's got a couple.
This past Saturday, we hosted our second open house for the Cliffs Hillside Park renovation project. Gloria came by. Just improving Mike's backyard, but we had great turnout and several generations of Basalt residents come by and got some direction on our initial sketches for that park renovation. We'll be proceeding with one of those sketch options and taking that to post next week, but the hope is to do that renovation this summer. So both demolition of the existing structures and installation of some new structures, giving that park a facelift. We continue to move forward with our land use code updates, particularly the Prop 123 language. I know you guys saw that. The hope is to bring that to town council at the end of the month. So just keep an eye out for that. And if you guys feel so compelled to come and speak to that, it's always appreciated. Any other updates?
I have one more.
Yep.
So we do have our Police and Public Works building that we are trying to construct, and we have a survey out right now on Let's Talk Basalt to get the appetite of the community if a half-cent tax could help pay for that building. So wanted to get that on your radars. If you haven't taken the survey yet, I would encourage you to do so.
One more item. The Basalt Summer Concert Series, both the local vocals nights and the Wednesday night concert series have been announced. Local vocals, we have added a few nights this summer. Those start on June 5th over in Triangle Park. Several of the nights include multiple artists as well, so expanding that offering. So come on by before your date night or going out to eat in Willits, or just if you're around looking for something to do for a little bit. Got some great local acts. And then the summer concert series are a little bit abbreviated this summer, but those are starting on June 17th. So block out your Wednesdays and come on down.
Put a plug in for my former student Tristan Truncato, if you don't know him, great local talent.
Can you give us an update on what happened to your leg or your foot?
I can do that after the after the meeting adjourns.
I want a public record, darn.
Bad at skiing. Let's start there.
All right.
No more comments. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
Second, anybody?
Second.
Seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned at 7:26.